If you're looking for a bait that will absolutely get you bites anywhere you're at, smallmouth, largemouth, spotted bass, doesn't matter, and absolutely will catch some big fish too, you need to be throwing a Ned Rig. You know, this is a bait that came on a few years ago. The guys have started to throw it, but myself am still getting more familiar with it. You know, what matters with it, what baits you can throw on it. But when it boils down to it, it's a pretty simple bait. It's obviously not very big. There's a lot of different things you can do to it, but it's gonna get you bites. And the type stuff that I like throwing the bait around, you know, I'm sitting here on like a little shallow rocky point right now. Perfect scenario for it. You know, points, riprap, basically anything you want to throw a bait around, the Ned Rig's gonna work. Now the keys I figured out for it is you're gonna want to throw as light as a head as you can possibly get away with. They seems to get you a little more bites if it has a little slower fall. That's what's worked for me. Obviously you can go anywhere from really light to a 1/4 ounce. Most of the time I spend around an 1/8 ounce with it. But the key is, or the deal is with it, it's simply just going to get you bites. If you get in a situation in a tournament and say, man, I need to finish out my limit, or you're fishing Major League Fishing style and you need to put fish on that score tracker, the Ned Rig's absolutely going to do it for you. And it's kind of a do-nothing bait. You throw it out there, let it hit the bottom, pick it back up, swim it, and let it hit the bottom again. Whatever the fish are wanting, that Ned Rig's going to work for that. I'm going to show you what the bait looks like and then kind of the rod you need for it, because that stuff's always key. Now the bait, there's many different options you can put on it. The head's what makes this different. This one's a weedless version. Like I said, it's an 1/8 ounce. You 1 or 2/0 hook. There's a small hook, small presentation, finesse. Cabin Creek sinking worm. I've simply just took a sinking worm. You know, you take a stick bait, whatever, cut it in half, cut it 2/3, put it on there. You can make it smaller, larger. You can even put small crawl baits on there. It's really versatile. Really gonna give you a lot of options to get bites. Now, the setup. So you need some light line. I usually go Seagar Smackdown braid to a fluorocarbon leader, 6, 8, 10-pound test, depending on what kind of cover I'm around, watercolor. But for me, the rod, that to me is key, because this bait, so it'll kind of glide when it drops, and those fish will pick it up right there. And a lot of times they inhale it. This bait's so small. Look at that. You don't feel them hit it. Most of the time, you won't feel them hit it unless you've built an Elite X. This is an NSJ 822.5. This is basically a 610 spinning rod application. You always want to throw it in a spinning rod, in my opinion. Works really well for that. But that Elite X, this is the lightest rod you'll ever put your hands on, not to mention that it's the most sensitive rod you'll ever put your hands on. So when those fish get it, when those light bites, they grab it, they start coming towards you, you're gonna know immediately that they have it if you'll build an Elite X. The Elite X, it's probably the most sensitive rod on the market. It's definitely the most sensitive rod in my boat that I've built, and I build it for certain applications like the Ned Rig, where I need to know when those fish have gotten it, and it's, you know, you're not fishing a big heavy bait with braid or something where the bites are easy to feel. I'm throwing this bait in current sometimes. I'm throwing this bait in windy conditions. You need to have a good rod, and then the action as well. That 822.5, great. You're going to be able to put that hook in a fish's mouth. And land him as well. Make long casts. Just a really good Ned Rig rod. There's other applications this rod works with, but for me, this one's always got a Ned Rig tied on it.